Good evening, everybody, and happy Monday. I wish I could say that it was a really happy Monday for me, but it was more of just a Monday. This week and this past week and weekend really are kicking my behind. Just so busy on multiple things, like good and bad too, both. I mean, really high highs and everything, but just vying for my brain capacity. So it makes things kind of stressful. And, there's also been like some heaviness today and even some news yesterday, and not anything that is even personally affecting me, but just people I know. And I may share more about that in a minute. But first, I have to kick this off with a little funny tidbit. So, like I just said, I'm like nearing the end of kind of a very long day today, just running all around, doing all the things, and just a long day, both physically and emotionally. And so I tell Brian when he gets home, I'm like, I'm going to go take a hot bubble bath. Can you take care of the rest of bedtime? And he's like, yeah. So I come in and I'm getting my bubble bath ready and everything. And I come back in to get into the bath, and the boys have dumped the entire container of like bath color tablets, the little ones that kind of dissolve and make the bath that color. Well, they dumped the whole tub of them into my bubble bath, turning it like completely black. Like the water is just... Here I am getting ready for like a nice, hot, relaxing, wonderful bubble bath. And I look down and it's just like completely black water. Looks very ominous and awful. But honestly, it was the comedic relief that I think I needed. And for those wondering, yes, I did take the black bubble bath. I thought it was kind of funny. But so back on track, in keeping with how I've done the last couple of weeks, I'll share a little about this week's theme for Advent and then just some thoughts. And I wish I could say that they both, they tied together with a pretty little bow, but I don't know that they go that well together. But it's the thoughts are what I've got at this point. So I'm going to go with it. So bear with me. But so this week is the third week of Advent. It is, you're lighting the shepherd's candle, and it's a pink candle because rose is the liturgical color for joy. And if you were in church yesterday and they may have said something about it being, and I hope I'm saying this right, Gaudete Sunday. So Gaudete means, is Latin for rejoice. So this is, the theme for this week is joy and celebrating the joy that the world experienced at the birth of Jesus, as well as kind of a halfway point for the Advent season. So kind of going into my thoughts around this point in the season, God is stretching me in this season. I'm a planner and I have like lists and things to get done and assigned days to do them and like deadlines for myself, and for Brian. He doesn't always pay attention to those, and I've done my best in the midst of this season, like I've told y'all these last couple of weeks, to make sure that I'm enjoying the moments with the boys and like not letting the season pass me by. And, I kind of look up and it's over. I've wanted to be sure of that. I have not wanted to, look back on this as like, oh, I was too busy or too stressed out. And I think I've done a good job balancing that. Like I've done, a lot of like little things with the boys to kind of enjoy the season with them, from like crafts to just like hot chocolate. And, my go-to has been just to turn these Christmas cartoons on or Christmas movie and watch it with them. And it's very nostalgic and it's been fun. Like they've had fun. I've had fun. We've all had a good time. And I say all this like as if Brian hasn't been there for all of it too. And he has for the most part, but some nights, he's got his gigs and stuff. So, anyways, I always try to make those memorable nights as well. But I say that God is stretching me and like pushing me this season because I feel like He is showing me just how much is out of my control. Just this last weekend, we had our one like Christmassy outing planned because we missed the stroll the previous weekend because of just nasty weather and multiple things. But so this past weekend we were going to get our one, little Christmassy outing planned, and there was a lot behind that outing too, behind just literally bringing the boys, but nothing that day went as planned. And we ended up like just the whole day just unraveled. And we ended up with a sick kid and just unable to do that outing as a family. We still kind of had to, divide and conquer and stuff, but it was definitely not the family outing that I was hoping for. And I don't really pivot well. But like I said, I think God is just showing me kind of the different things that are out of my control and that I just have to kind of learn to let go of. And, truthfully, I don't know if the kids will get to sit on Santa's lap at all this year. Like, normally there's multiple opportunities, and I feel like pretty much all of those have kind of passed us by. But I'm at peace with that. We're making memories nonetheless. Like I said, making the hot cocoa with them, and we've done sugar cookie bake. Like, we have done plenty of things. I am not feeling like we've missed out on any of that. So I'm giving ourselves a lot of grace. But then there's even things like today where I had a productive afternoon lined up during nap time, and I ended up having to pause all of that for something more important, but also really heavy. And so just to give like a little bit of background, a guy I know that I kind of work with, he's done some work here for us. He shared with me like some really heavy things that are going on in his life right now. And I struggled with what to say to him. And I don't like that. I really like to feel like I have the words, but I'm also really aware of when I don't. And this was one of those cases I knew I really wasn't. I did my best and then just let it go. And honestly, like, we both cried over it. That's how, if that gives y'all an idea of how heavy his stuff was. And so but it also, I guess what I'm learning is like, I'm letting that give me perspective. I'm hopeful that, everything that he's going through will lead him to a deeper relationship with Jesus, or frankly, just a relationship at all, where he's at right now. So it's a painful way of growing myself. Just looking kind of internally at me, it's a painful way of growing myself, learning just what all is out of my control. But I am also just very grateful and aware that because I am putting in the efforts, as sporadic and unscheduled and having to catch back up, because I'm putting in the efforts to make sure that I'm preparing my heart for Jesus' coming during this Advent season, I can tell that Jesus is working this all for good. And it's not even necessarily that it's any less difficult. Like, I'm not exactly a pliable personality. And I don't take to coaching or prodding very well. But I can tell you that because of where my focus has been primarily this season, I can tell that these things that I'm struggling through are more fruitful than it would have been if I didn't have my focus on him. So I don't know. I hope that encourages you. I hope that You let the heavy things this season give you perspective and empathy and not just depression. I know I'm trying to choose to gain perspective from my own life from it. All these things that I'm worrying and stressing about and don't have control over. And then I've got this guy telling me all that he's dealing with, and it really gives me perspective. And I'm praying hard that he, seeks comfort from Jesus, and that this opens the door for, like I said, a deeper relationship with God for him, and not the opposite. The world is heavy, but God has overcome the world. So I can rejoice and recenter and give myself and others around me grace, and let go of the things that I can't control. That's about all I have in thoughts today on this Monday. But with all that said, I wanted to give some fun Advent updates and not end on kind of a heavy note here. So we are nearing our Christmas concert at the nursing home, and we are expanding our song choices from what we went prepared with last year. And so I'm very excited about that. Brian finally brought his guitar down, and we're actually I can tell he's starting to pick through some of the songs and try to remember what they are. So that's really fun and exciting. We have that this Sunday. And then to give an update on our Advent giveaway box, very little traction so far, but I am hopeful. We have talked about it multiple times. There's been multiple toys almost see the bin. None have actually made it in there yet, but we are still talking about it, and I'm hopeful that they will, to give a little background, I hope they will find some toys that they don't want, don't need, and donate for this season to someone else who might need them. We're still having lots of talks about Jesus and the reason we celebrate. And for that reason, I'm so thankful for all the extra things of this season. It's all good opportunities for good conversation with your kids, or just reflections for yourself. So with all that said, I hope to be in such a place that I can come on next Sunday as well. I know we are going to be so busy. That will be, T-minus 2 days before Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, both of which we're hosting. So we will have a lot going on, but I hope to be back here next Sunday and back on track and sharing with y'all about the 4th week of Advent. But I hope you have a great 3rd week of Advent and rejoice in what is coming.